The Toy Hospital by Elaine Mills. Once upon a time, there was a small china doll called Marianne, who lived in a tree house with her best friend, a toy squirrel. And they were happy. The only trouble was, Squirrel was a bit of a show-off. One day, when Marianne was hanging up the washing, Squirrel began to fool around. "Look at me!" he shouted, and ran along the washing line. "Hey!" said Marianne, "be careful!" But Squirrel took no notice. He jumped up onto the roof and balanced on the chimney pot. "Come down at once," said Marianne. "You're going to fall." "No, not me," said Squirrel. "I'm the bravest squirrel in the world." And he took a flying leap. "Stop it!" shouted Marianne. "You're going to break the television aerial." "No, I won't," said Squirrel, bouncing up and down, and sure enough, the aerial began to bend. "Look out!" cried Marianne. But it was too late. Twang went the aerial, and it broke in half. The naughty toy came tumbling down off the roof, and he landed in a cabbage patch. "Ow!" cried Squirrel at the top of his voice. Marianne was worried and ran straight down there. "Squirrel," she said, "Squirrel, are you all right?" "My leg is hurting," whimpered Squirrel. "Can you make it better?" "Oh dear," said Marianne, "I think you need a doctor." And she ran upstairs to phone for the ambulance. The ambulance men were very gentle, and they lifted Squirrel onto a stretcher, and Marianne sat beside him in the ambulance. "Squirrel," she said, "don't be afraid. The doctor will make you better." Blah, 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 went the ambulance. When they arrived at the hospital for sick toys, the men put Squirrel into a wheelchair and pushed him into a big room full of broken toys. "Hello," said the nurse. "What's wrong with you?" Marianne began to explain. "He fell off the roof and—" "My leg is hurting me," said Squirrel. "Oh, you better see the doctor right away," said the nurse. "Hello, Squirrel," said the doctor. "What can I do for you?" "I don't feel well," said Squirrel. "I fell off the roof." "Goodness," said the doctor. "Let me have a look at you." "Will I ever be able to jump again?" asked Squirrel anxiously. "Jump again?" said the doctor. "Of course. But next time I hope you'll be more careful. You've lost a lot of stuffing." Squirrel closed his eyes and held on to Marianne's hand as the doctor carefully packed his leg with stuffing and sewed him up again. There were 15 stitches in his leg. "Am I better now?" said Squirrel. "You're still very weak," said the doctor. "Nurse will give you a bandage." "Over here," said the nurse, and she lifted the little Squirrel onto a chair with a cushion, and she wrapped a long white bandage round and round his wounded leg. Then the nurse gave Squirrel some crutches. Squirrel was very proud of his new crutches. "Look at me!" he shouted, swinging along the corridor. "Careful," said the nurse. "You can go home now, but remember, no more jumping on the roof." Because he couldn't get up the stairs to the tree house, Marianne put a tent in the garden so Squirrel could sleep outside. His leg was still very weak. Because he couldn't get up the stairs to the toilet, Marianne put a potty in his tent. And they lived in the garden for a week or two. And on rainy days, they stayed inside and read stories, and on sunny days, they had picnics outside. And they would go for walks in the countryside, and every day his leg was getting stronger and stronger. "Marianne," said Squirrel suddenly one day, "I think my leg is better." "Very well," said Marianne. "Let's go see the doctor." She tied him carefully onto the back of her bike, and off they went. It was time to get rid of the bandage. "I think I can walk again," said Squirrel. "All by myself, without any crutches." "Good," said the doctor. "Show me what you can do." Squirrel began to walk again. He put one foot in front of the other, moving very slowly at first, but soon he was racing along. "Hooray, hooray!" said Squirrel. "Look at me!" "That's perfect," said the doctor. "Very well done." "Come on," said Marianne. "Let's go back home." "Now you're better, you can have a surprise." What is it?" asked Squirrel. "Wait and see," said Marianne. "But first you must make a promise. No more jumping on the roof." I promise," shouted Squirrel. But, oh dear, as soon as they were home again, Squirrel scampered up the tree, straight onto the washing line. "Look at me," he shouted. "I'm an acrobat, and for my next trick—" "Be careful," shouted Marianne. "Remember what I told you." Squirrel turned to Marianne, made a bow, leapt high up into the air, did a somersault, and then he tumbled head over heels down and down and down until he landed on a super duper extra bouncy brand new trampoline. Boing, boing, boing.